Hello and welcome to RPG Fortress. My name is Richard, and today we are looking at Shining Force CD only Shining Force content. We've already looked at Shining Force Gaiden and Shining Force Gaiden 2, the Sword of Hajya, which naturally dips into Shining Force CD, since those two games were made as books 1 and 2 for Shining Force CD. But along with these two remakes, there was brand new and exclusive content made for Shining Force CD that can't be found anywhere else. Books 3 and 4 are brand new scenarios meant to follow up Gaiden and Gaiden 2, and they are wonderful little stories. The remakes of Gaiden and Gaiden 2 for SFCD are great on their own, but the addition of books 3 and 4 really make this a must-play for all Shining fans. So today we are diving face first into this unique Shining content that is unavailable anywhere else. Sega neglecting its legacy IPs? It's more likely than you think. So get your reading glasses out and sit down in a big comfy chair. It is time to read. This is RPG Fortress Reviews Shining Force CD Books 3 and 4 and their S-tier Shining content, so really you shouldn't skip playing them because you will regret it. Now, if you want to play Book 3, you can't dive right into it. In order to unlock Book 3, you need to finish Books 1 and 2 first. Clearing these two games will flag your save file and give you access to Book 3. It's a bit of work to get to Book 3, but who reads books out of order anyway? Just play these two games, you'll get more out of Book 3 anyway. If you are planning on playing this game legitimately, you will need a Sega RAM cart for your Sega CD, as there is not enough space on the internal memory for a full Shining Force CD save. Whoops! There's no way to play books 3 and 4 without a RAM cart, so make sure you initialize your 100% real RAM cart when starting your 100% real copy of Shining Force CD in your 100% real Sega CD. The story of Book 3 starts off a lot like the Sword of Hajya. The young soldiers, now veterans after defeating Warderer and Eom, are busy patrolling the courtyard to Cypress Castle. Eric, Jaha, and Luke are still absolute numbskulls and get into a big punch-up over nothing. But hey, Deanna and Natasha have returned from their journey together and they break up the fight. Turns out it's Nick's coronation today and all of Guardiana and Cypress are here to celebrate. This is when a mysterious old woman and her cadre of freaks arrive. Cut to all of your units inside the castle having an absolute freakout. The sprites in Shining Force games are nowhere near as expressive as those in games like Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger, but the programmers still manage to get a lot of excitement out of these little guys. As everyone is dancing around and getting absolutely crunk, the old woman enters and kidnaps Queen Anri. Anri was probably the best mage in the original Shining Force, but now she's been kidnapped in a game where she was already poisoned and put into an endless sleep. Sexist tropes never die. So Guardiana's force and Cypress's force band together to head out and rescue Queen Anri from the diabolical crone Dava. You'll be thrown into battle, but egress right away and set up your force before moving forward. At headquarters, you will find all of your force members from both books 1 and 2. Well, most of the units. Mayfair and Guyan sit out as they are advisors, Lug is incognito, and any units you miss will be absent. If you choose that this is a sequel chapter to previous books, you can import your saves from both books 1 and 2. Importing your saves imports your characters, including their levels. Their gear doesn't come over, but their levels do, and that's what really matters. Sure, you won't have all of your rings or weapons or whatever, but the levels do carry over, and this is great. You see, books 3 and 4 are hard, like very mega super difficult. If you don't import a save, confirming with the elf girl that this isn't a sequel, then your characters will be low level. Sure, they will all be promoted, but they will be low level, meaning it's time to grind. But if you do import your teams, they will be where you left them, and odds are they're probably pretty high level. This means that those high level spells like Aura 4 and Bolt 4 that are just out of your level range, unless you do mega grinding, will naturally show up after a couple of fights. Not only is Book 3 a story continuation, but it is a combat continuation. And let me tell you, if you haven't seen Bolt 4 or Aura 4 until this point, you are in for a treat. After setting up your force, it's time to jump into the first battle of Book 3, the Graveyard. The Graveyard is a very large, mostly open map with lots of undead enemies. There are also lots of gravestones that will explode during combat and spew out more undead idiots for you to fight. Make sure you are packing some Blaze 4 casters. As you make your way up through the graveyard toward Dava's fortress, you will probably end up accidentally searching some gravestones and other spots. Book 3 has so many hidden items, I don't think I have ever actually gotten all of them. Each battle will have something close to a dozen hidden items for you to find. Some powerful weapons, some incredible rings, some mediocre healing items, and some useless, and sometimes funny, items that are only really good for selling. Search everything out of the ordinary, there is so much to discover. After you finish walloping zombies in the graveyard, you enter Dava's fortress to find a mess hall. A messy mess hall. Here you will find dozens of off-duty centaurs and dwarves eating, drinking, and being merry / being passed out. Here you will fight the first of Dava's 3 generals. Is general the right word? Chu Rao. He is a big man with a lot of hit points and defense who can breathe fire on your units, causing incredible AoE damage. The regular units in this battle do a great job of showing off how powerful the normal enemies in this book really are. These knights are super vicious, and the healers sure do have a lot of MP. Even the mages have almost 60 hit points, holy crap. And there are a lot of enemies here too. Make sure you use the cursor to see which enemies are vicious and which ones are just set dressing. It's like one big drunken Where's Waldo. When you're done kicking the crap out of Chu Rao and crew, you get to move on to one of my top 5 favorite battles in any Shining Force game, Kisaragi's Garden. This stage is a beautiful, feudal Japanese garden with beautiful flowers, trees, a pond, and loads of killer kunoichi. This is another huge map that, while huge, doesn't outstay its welcome. You'll find that as a recurring theme in Book 3. There are only 6 battles, but all 6 of them are incredible. If I was doing a top 20 Shining Force battles tier list, all 6 battles from Book 3 would be present. Yes, they are that good. They are up there with the Laser Eye battle or the Gesh battle. These fights are intriguing, memorable, and just plain fun. As you enter the garden, you are greeted by the beautiful Kisaragi, and Gaian is immediately head over heels. She offers Gaian and Nick that, all the while Mayfair easily sees through the trap. But Gaian and Nick are way too thirsty for common sense. It's only then when Kisaragi and her girls attack, which, who would have guessed? This battle contains several different flavors of kunoichi, some with high attack, some with spells, and some that appear out of nowhere. This battle has several units that appear as you move onward, so make sure you stay healed and keep healing as you slowly make your way to Kisaragi. The leader of the kunoichis is exceedingly fast with almost 90 MP and the ability to cast Raijin level 2, so get ready to lose some units. Next up, after venturing deeper into Dava's fortress, you'll encounter a host of goblins building a maze. In this battle, you'll face the powerful Boldor, who actually isn't really that terrible since he has no magic or special attacks, but he has a host of powerful units fighting with him, including some white dragons and chimeras. This is a great time for me to gush over how cool my team is. First off, Nick and Deanna, 2 heroes. Holy cow, so much Bolt level 4. Throw in May and Yisha, and that's 4 characters with Bolt 4. Even the toughest enemies are going to fall to that. And let me tell you, the enemies in Battle 5 are tough, because you're fighting yourself. That's right, Battle 5 pits you against shadows of your very own team. And there's no around. These are carbon copies of your own units. So if you bring in 4 units with Bolt 4, you're fighting 4 units with Bolt 4. This can easily decimate your team in just a few rounds, but thankfully, the enemy AI is not nearly as smart as you are, so get ready for Freeze 2, while your own units are blasting fools with Bolt 4. All of that being said, it's a hell of a fun battle. Next up is the final battle. I know it's over already, and you are fighting Dava herself. The witch has a powerful spell called Dava Breath that is a lot like Demon Breath. It hits a wide area, hits hard, and is generally super dangerous. Plus, she is super fast, usually getting 2 turns for every 1 turn you get. As you are crossing the battlefield to get to her, she will be summoning hordes of Wonder Mush for you to fight. The Mush don't do any damage, but they have the ability to hit a lot of your team with an effect that will easily confuse them. Whoops! As you get closer to her, she will also summon her soldiers from previous battles. And I haven't even mentioned the worst part of the battle yet, Dava Beam. On top of Dava Breath, summoning mushrooms, and summoning her generals, she is basically the laser eye from the original Shining Force. That's right, as you slowly cross the battlefield to combat her, she will occasionally blast a powerful beam 5 tiles wide down the center of the battlefield. And the battle starts with this beam, hitting every member of your team, because she goes first. Wow. After you defeat Dava, Gaian admits that he's known Dava all along and planned this little fiasco as a way to initiate Prince Nick before receiving his crown. I mean, you'd think that defeating a primeval evil demon, not once but twice, rescuing Queen Anri, having his arm turned to stone, and being kidnapped by cultists would have been enough. But Gaian's got other plans, I guess. Like I said, Book 3 is a beast. Yes, there's only 6 battles, but all 6 battles are phenomenal. There's lots of hidden items to find, cool enemies to defeat, fun new music. It's just an all-around satisfying experience. It's definitely a good way to cap off the Cyprus arc of the Shining Force series, but wait, there is more. During Book 2's final battle of Chapter 1, you can search a well to find a ticket to the museum. It doesn't go into your inventory. Mayfair tells you that she'll hold on to it for now, so you'll probably forget about it or assume it's just some weird translation thing. I haven't talked about it because it kind of goes with the territory, but the translation of this game is a little bit rough. But after you finish Book 3, this ticket unlocks Book 4. Now, Book 4 is only 1 battle, but it's glorious. It's like the hidden battle of Shining Force 2. It is a single giant battlefield where you fight every single boss from Books 1, 2, and 3. This is a lot of bosses, and some of them are absolutely devastating to beat on their own. Eom is still a beast, Dava is still a beast, and there's just so much high-level freeze and bolt going around that you will need to be in top shape. I was never able to find a way to choose my troops for this final fight, as Egress just restarts the battle over from scratch. You don't end up going to headquarters at all, so you can't really choose your team. It's just the team that the game gives you. And it's seemingly the same every time. So that being said, unless you level these particular units in Book 3, they're going to be under-leveled. So for example, my Deanna and my Nick were super high level, they both had Bolt 4. Natasha and Wendy were both high level and had their max spells, but I also ended up with Eric and Jaha and Claude. Units I didn't use, so they were woefully under-leveled for this battle. Despite this oversight, if you are adequately leveled up, you are going to have a great time. Book 4 is a hell of a battle. And that's really all I have to say about Shining Force CD. It's taken 3 videos, but here we are. Shining Force CD is essential playing for all Shining fans. It takes two Game Gear games that are great in their own right and makes them even better by tightening the gameplay, enhancing the graphics, enhancing the music, and adding loads of great new content. This is a great starting point to get into strategy role-playing games. SFCD is real easy to jump into, and it's just as hard as you need it to be. The ability to adjust difficulty is a great way to make it harder or easier if you need it. The ability to grind if you want to also makes it easier or harder if you need that. There's loads to see and do in these games. Shining Force CD is an absolute must-have if you have a Sega CD. It's an incredible and rewarding journey. And that is Shining Force CD. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's always a good time when I get to replay this game. Have you ever played SFCD? If you have, let me know in the comments below. What was your favorite book? I think it's obvious that mine's book 3. 2 weeks from now, we are wrapping up the Game Gear / Sega CD Shining Retrospective with a game that is seriously overlooked but is one of the best Shining games. I am talking about the legendary Shining Force Gaiden 3 Final Conflict. This Game Gear only title is both a sequel to Shining Force 1 and a prequel to Shining Force 2. Until then, why not help out the channel by liking this video? That's it. I normally have a laundry list of gags for the end of the video, but today I'm just asking for a single like. See the like button? It's right there. It won't even cost you 1 second to click it. Thank you very much. Until next time, I am Richard for RPG Fortress. See you soon, and don't forget to hug a cat. Goodbye.